Good morning, Junior 5. Today we're gonna complete together Unit 1, Lesson 2, Comparing and Ordering Fractions. But first of all, you've got to know that the fractions while comparing have types, and they are three. The first type is called the crazy fractions, and the second type is called the kind fractions, and the third type is called the not crazy, not kind type. So first let's together see what is the crazy fractions are. So when we have the fractions who have the same numerator, like if we have 1 over 2 and 1 over 3, what will you do? First of all, let's see the chart of the 1 over 2 and the 1 over 3. If we have a pizza that it cuts into two parts, I will eat one from the two parts. Also, if you have a pizza which is cut into 4 parts, I will eat 2 parts out of the 4 parts. That means that you eat the half of the pizza. While there, if you have a pizza which is cut into 3 parts, okay, which is the denominator, you've got only to eat only 1 part from this pizza, which is the yellow part. Okay, so right now, which one of these do you think that it's the greater? If you eat half of the pizza or if you eat 1/3 of the pizza? I think if I'm hungry, I will eat half of the pizza, which is the greatest. So when we have a fraction which is crazy fraction, which means that it has a common numerator, what will you do? The smaller denominator is for the greatest fraction. The smaller denominator is for the greatest fraction. So we said that the half is greater than the third. So 2 in the denominator is greater than 3 in the denominator of the crazy fractions. So right now half is greater than third. While the kind fractions type is the fractions who have the same denominator, which is the legs of the fraction. Like if we have 3 over 4 and 1 over 4. I see that both of these fractions have common denominator, which is 4. So let's see the chart of these fractions together. If I have a pizza which is cut into 4 parts, I eat 3 parts of it, like the 3 yellow parts. While if I have a pizza which is cut into 4 parts, I eat only 1 part, which is the yellow part. So if you are hungry, which one will you eat? Will you eat the 3/4 of the pizza, or you will eat only 1/4 of the pizza? I think that the greater one is the 3/4. So right now I can see that the 3/4 is greater than the 1/4. So in the kind fractions, the greater numerator is for the greatest fraction. So the greater numerator is the 3, is for the greatest fractions, which is the 3 over 4. So right now 3/4 is greater than 1/4. And the third and the last type is the not crazy, not kind type. So this type has different numerator and denominator. What will I do? You have to make a common numerator or common denominator. So in this type, you have a fractions like this, 1 over 3 and 3 over 5. I see that they are different in numerators, so they are not crazy, and they are different in denominators, so they are not kind. So you have to make a common numerator to be crazy fraction, or you have to make common denominator to be kind fraction. So I prefer to make it kind fraction to eat the greater numerator. So what will you do? You have to make common denominator like LCM. Do you remember? How can I do this? By crisscross. So I will take the 5 and multiply it up and down by the 1 over 3, and I will make the 3 multiplied by up and down to the 3 over 5. So when I multiply up and down here and I multiply up and down here, I will figure out the answer of 1 over 3 times 5 up and down. It will give me 5 over 15. And 3 over 5 multiplied by 3 up and down will give me 9 over 15. Right now I can see that it have been changed into a crazy fraction or kind fraction. Let's see. Ask the fractions. Are you crazy? Or you have a common numerator? No. Are you kind? Or you have a common denominator? Yes. So they are kind, and in the kind fractions, the greater numerator is for the greatest fraction. So I will eat the greater numerator, which is the 9. Okay, let's see the next part. Here you have to complete the following using greater, smaller, or equal. The first question is 8 over 9 and 1. You have to compare between them. But right now I have a problem, which is 1. And this lesson is called comparing and ordering fractions. So this have to be fraction like the 8 over 9. What will I do? I know that the 1 is any numerator over the same denominator. Like 1 can be 2 over 2 or 3 over 3 or 4 over 4 or whatever. So here this one can see the 8 and became 8 over 8. And this one can see the 9 to be 9 over 9. But I used to told you that I prefer to change the fractions to be kind. So I will make this one go and see the 9 to be 9 over 9. Right now, ask the fractions, are you crazy? No. Are you kind? Yes. So in the kind fractions, I eat the greater numerator, which is 9. So it's kind, and the greater one is the 1. And you have to know that the 1 is greater than any proper fraction, and the proper fraction is the fraction which has a numerator smaller than its denominator. Let's see the next question. Here we have 1 over 5 and 2 over 10. What will we do? Ask the fractions. Are you crazy? No. Are you kind? No. So what will I do? We said that this type is not the crazy type or not the kind type, and it's the not crazy, not kind. And in the not crazy, not kind type, you've got to make common denominator. So the 5 can be 10 by multiplying, and the 10 can be 5 by dividing. So I will just divide up and down by 2. When I divide up and down by 2, I will figure out 2 divided 2 equals 1 and 10 divided 2 equals 5. Now I have 1 over 5 and 1 over 5, and clearly that they are equal. The third question, 5 over 42 and 3 over 7. I have to see which is greater. So first go and ask the fractions. Are you crazy? No. Are you kind? No. Not crazy, not kind? Yes. So what will you do? You have to make a common denominator. So the 7 can be 42 easily. How? When I multiply by 6. So when I multiply by 6 up and down, the result will be 3 times 6 equals 18 and 7 times 6 equals 42. Right now, are you crazy? No. Are you kind? Yes. So in the kind fractions, eat the greater numerator, which is the 18. Next question. 1 over 3 and 1 over 2. Ask the fractions. Are you crazy? Yes, I am. So in the crazy fractions, I eat the smaller denominator, which is greater in value for the fraction. So it's clear that 1 over 2 is greater than 1 over 3 because they are crazy. Go next. Arrange in ascending order. 2 over 11, 7 over 11, 4 over 11, and 10 over 11. Now you have to arrange these numbers in ascending order. So, first of all, ask your fractions. Are you crazy? No, they are not having the same numerator. Ask, are you kind? Yes, they are. So they are kind fractions. In the kind fractions type, I have to arrange in ascending order from the smallest numerator to the greater one easily. So the first one will be 2 is the smallest over 11, and 4 over 11, then 7 over 11, then 10 over 11. Go next. Question number B. 7 over 13, 7 over 5, 7 over 9, 7 over 11, 7 over 4. Now we have to arrange it in an ascending order, but first ask the fractions. Are you crazy? Yes, we are. And in the crazy fractions, you have to know that they all vice versa everything. As we said that the greater fractions in the crazy fraction is the one who have the smallest denominator. So the first one is in the crazy fractions is 7 over 13, then 7 over 11, then 7 over 9, then 7 over 5, then 7 over 4, which is the greatest one, and 7 over 13 is the smallest one. Go next. Put greater, smaller, or equal. The first question, 7 over 3 and 0.7. Here we have a fraction and the decimal. But right now we can't compare between a fraction and decimal until we have both of them fractions or both of them decimals. So can I change the 7 over 3 into decimal? I have to see this denominator to change it into decimal. You have to see it like 10, 100 or 1000. But here it's not. So the 3. Do the 3 have a friend right here to be changed into 10, 100 or 1000? No. So I will go to the decimal and I will change it into a fraction. So it's clear that here 0.7 can be changed into fraction easily, like 7 over 10. Okay, so I will put the 7 up, and here after the decimal point I have only one decimal place, so I will just write down 10. Now ask the fractions, are you crazy? Yes, we are. In the crazy fractions I eat the smallest value in the denominator, which is the 3. Go next. Question number B, 3.2 and 3 and 1 over 2. Okay, here is the decimal and here is the mixed. So can I change this mixed number into a decimal? Yes, I can. So how can I do it? First of all, you have to search for the friend of the 2. So the friend of the 2 is 5 to give 10. So I will multiply by 5 up and down. When I multiply by 5 up and down, the 3 will be aside. And 1 times 5 equals 5 and 2 times 5 equals 10. So right now I will cross only 1 0 with this 5, and the decimal point will enter in between the 3 and the 5. So the answer will be 3.5. Now we have 3.2 and 3.5. I think that the 3 is the same with the 3. Go next. After the decimal place you have 2, and here you have a 5. So the 5 is greater than the 2. So 3.5 is greater than 3.2. Go next. Arrange in a descending order. Here we have 0.4, 0.06, 11 over 25 and 3 over 5. I can see clearly that here we have decimal numbers and here we have fractions. So while comparing or ordering fractions or decimals, both of them have to be fractions or decimals. So I have to see all of them like fractions or all of them like decimals. I think that it's clearly that you can change this 11 over 25 into decimal easily by searching for the friend of the 25, which is the friend of 25 is 4 to give 100. So I will multiply by 4 up and down. When I take the 11 over 25 and I multiply by 4 up and down, I will have 44 over 100. Here I have to change this 44 over 100 to decimal by crossing 0 down, 2 zeros, and here 2 numbers. So the decimal point will enter after 2 decimal places from the right hand side. Now the 11 over 25 became 0.44. It's the turn for the 3 over 5. Is the 5 have a friend? Yes, it has, which is the 2. So I will multiply up and down by 2. When I multiply up and down by 2, 3 times 2 equals 6, 5 times 2 equals 10. Now 1 0 only, so the decimal place will be after 1 place from the right hand side. Now I have changed the fractions into decimals, and all of the numbers here are decimal numbers. So I will just write them, but here I have to see the decimal places. Only one decimal place, 2 decimal places, and 2 decimal places, and 1 decimal places. You've got to know in a range that the decimal places after the decimal point have to be equal. So here I will have to add 1 0 to be 2 decimal places, and here I will add 1 0 to be 2 decimal places. So here I have added the 2 zeros. Right now arrange in descending order easily. The whole part is 0, 0, 0, and 0. Right now go to the decimal part. Which is greater? 40, 6, 44 or 60? I see that 60 is the greater one, then 44, so 0.44. Next is 0.40, then 0.06. Go next. Arrange in an ascending order. Here we have 5 and 2 over 5, 7.3, 5 and 3 over 7, and 7 and 1 over 5. First of all, you have to see that you have a mixed numbers and a decimal numbers. But you have here 5 and 2 over 5, and here 5 and 3 over 7. So I have to compare first between these two 5s. Which one of them is the smallest to take it and write it first? So let's see. I will take them aside and compare between them and choose the smallest one to write it first. First of all, I will just write them 5 and 2 over 5 and 5 and 3 over 7. I see that the 5 is same to the 5. And here, ask the fractions. Are you crazy? No. Are you kind? No. You can make a common denominator by multiplying both of them, this side by 5 up and down and this side by 7 up and down. And there's another way that you have to make crisscross to the numerator and the denominator together for the pose of the fractions. So here when I make crisscross, 7 times 2 equals 14 and 5 times 3 equals 15. Now which one is greater? I see that the 15 is greater. So the fraction of, or the mixed number of the 5 and 3 over 7 is greater. So the smallest one is 5 and 2 over 5. Then the next one is 5 and 3 over 7. Next, we have here 7.3 and 7 and 1 over 5. This one is a decimal and this one is a mixed number. So you have to change one of them into the other. Let's see. When I have the 7 and 1 over 5, I can change it easily into a decimal number by multiplying by the friend of the 5, which is the 2. So multiplying by 2 up and down, I will have the 7 as it is, 2 up and 10 down. Now the decimal point will be after one place from the right hand side, so it will be 7.2. Now we have 7.2 and 7.3, and it's clear that the 7.3 is greater than 7.2. So the smaller one is 7.2, which is 7 and 1 over 5. Then 7.3 is the last one. Let's see next. Find the value of x. Here we have 4 over 7 smaller than x over 7 smaller than 8 over 7. And you have to know that in this here I have to change the points that you have into x. So x means points. X means a known value that you have to figure out. So here I see that all of them are kind fractions. So what will you do? I will just cross the similar numbers. Then find out the value of x, which is a number between 4 and 8. What is between 4 and 8? After 4 to reach 8, after 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the value of x may be 5 or 6 or 7. Next question. 5 over 8 smaller than 5 over x smaller than 1. Here I know that the 1 can be any number over the same number. So here I see that both of them are crazy fractions. So I will let this one go and look to the 5. When I make the 1 look to the 5, it will be changed into 5 over 5. Now cross the similars who are in the numerator together. Okay. Now I want to figure out the x. X means dots. X means a number that I don't know. This number is lying between 5 and 8. So count after 5 to reach 8. After 5, 6 or 7. So the value of x is 6 or 7. Go next. Find the value of a or b or c. And I have to know that any letter in math means a variable, an unknown number. So it means to me dots. If I have a question like 2 over 5 equals a over 15, I mean that a means dots. A means unknown value. So here I can see that 2 over 5 is a complete fraction. the denominators are complete also. So the 5 became 15. It became 15 when I multiplied by 3 up and down. So when I multiply by 3 up and down, I will figure out the answer, which is 2 times 3 equals 6. So the answer of A is 6. Isn't that very clear? Go next. P over 8 equals 15 over 24. Here I see that the complete fraction is 15 over 24. So here the 24 becomes 8. The 24 becomes smaller. By dividing or multiplying, it's clear that it's dividing. So the 24 becomes 8 when I divide up and down by 3. When I divide the 15 by 3, I will figure out the answer, which is 5. So it's clear now that B equals 5. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching and goodbye.